Okay, welcome to a dividing decimals or dividing with decimals lesson. So we've already gone over some long division and what dividing means. Okay, so as a warm-up, what I want you to do is pause this video and I want you to answer the following division problems. Okay, now you can use a calculator for these, but I want you to think about, as you're solving these, think about what it means to solve. So how many times does the divisor, the second number, fit into the dividend? And then I want you to think about what you notice, okay? Go ahead and pause the video now and restart it as soon as you're finished. All right. So you should be back with us now. So if we think about what 60 divided by 20 is, we know that that's 3. Well then what's 6 divided by 2? That's 3. What's 0.6 divided by 0.2? That's 3. What's 6 hundredths divided by 2 hundredths? That's 3. Okay, so what are we noticing when we're noticing that our quotients are all the same? Okay, well, we can notice that all the quotients are the same, even though they are all different division problems. So as we go through this lesson, let's think about why all the quotients are the same, even though we've got all different division problems, all right? When we're dividing decimals, our first step is going to be to eliminate the decimal in the divisor, okay, by multiplying both numbers by 10, okay? Oh, are we noticing anything up here about how all of our problems are multiples of 10? Or they're divided by 10. 60 divided by 10 is 6. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. 0.6 divided by 10 is 0.06. Okay. 0.35 times 10 is 3.5. 3.5 times 10 is 35. 35 times 10 is 350. Are we noticing a pattern there? So if we ask ourselves, why do we multiply by 10? We multiply by 10 because every time you multiply by 10 with a decimal, for instance, if we've got 0.25 and I take this and I multiply this by 10, I'm moving that decimal place one place to the right. So now I've got 2.5. If I've got 2.5 and I multiply by 10, I move that decimal place one place to the right. Now I've got 25. Okay, so step 2, okay, we are going to divide as you would with whole numbers. Okay, and lastly, we want to check our answers to make sure that it is reasonable. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through an example right now. I would grab a sheet of graph paper to do your example. So if you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that. Okay. We're going to make sure that we're following these steps. Let's see. Hopefully I can get the steps and the problem in there at the same time. So we're going to do the problem. We're going to take 2.52 and we're going to divide that by 2.1. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate the decimal that's in my divisor by multiplying it by 10. Okay, well I know, because we just went over it in the notes, that if I multiply this decimal by 10, really I'm just moving my decimal one place over to the right. Okay, now here's the trick, because once you move the decimal over in the divisor, so now I no longer have a decimal here, I just have the number 21, I also need to move the decimal over in my dividend, okay? So I need to move the decimal over here and I can get rid of the original decimal. So if I was to rewrite this problem now, it would look something like 25.2 divided by 21, okay? So now we need to just divide normally. Let's ask ourselves, 21 goes into 2 how many times? Well, it goes in there 0 times, so I'm going to put an X up there. 21 goes into 25 how many times? It goes in there 1 time. 1 times 21 is 21. 25 minus 21 is 4. Now I'm going to bring down the 2. 21 goes into 42 how many times? Well, it goes in there actually 2 times. 2 times 21 is 42. 42 minus 42 is 0. I get a remainder of 0, so my problem is done. The only other thing that I need to do is I need to make sure that my decimal that's in my divisor gets brought up into my quotient. So my final answer here is 1.2. Okay? All right, let's try one more together. Let me pick a good one. All right, let's give let's go ahead and give this one a shot. So we're gonna take 8 and 424 thousandths, and we're gonna divide that by 36 hundredths, okay? So again, the first thing we wanna do is get rid of the decimal that's in the divisor by multiplying by 10. Well, in this case, I want to multiply by 10 and move that decimal over one place, but I still want to get rid of that decimal completely. So instead of having 3.6, I want to multiply it by 10 one more time to get 36. Okay, so now I've got the number 36 as my divisor. Now, however many times I need to multiply the divisor by 10, I also need to multiply my dividend by 10. So I need to move my decimal 2 spaces to the right as well, okay? Now, if I was to rewrite this problem just to make it a little bit neater, I've got 842.4, so 842 4/10 divided by 36, okay? Well, now I'm gonna ask myself, 36 goes into 8 how many times? Well, we know it goes in there no times. 36 goes into 84 2 times, okay? 2 times 36, well, 2 times 30 is 60. 2 times 6 is 12. 60 plus 12 is 72. 84 minus 72, well, 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 7 is 1. Now I'm going to bring down my 2. So 36 goes into 122 3 times. 3 times 36 is going to be 108. Okay. 122 minus 108. Well, I can't take 2 minus 8, so I need to borrow 1 from here. Turn that into a 1. Make this into a 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 would be 0. Bring down my 4. Now I've got 144 divided by 36. This is going to be 4 times, so 36 goes into 144 4 times. 4 times 36 is 144. Do some subtraction, and I get my final answer. Now, remember that I'm not fully done yet, because what I need to do is move that decimal up into my answer So I end with 23.4. Okay? Feel free to revisit this video if you need any more help, but go ahead and try the practice and see your teacher if you have any questions.